Watch this surveillance footage showing the exact moment a barrage of missiles struck down of the city of Dnipro this morning. That blast left buildings completely battered, including a medical rehabilitation center. The weapon used in that attack is currently in question. Kyiv says it was an intercontinental ballistic missile, but Western officials, including the U.S., are denying those claims, saying it was a ballistic missile, but not an ICBM.
But it's hard not to read into this decision by the U.S., Vlad, to finally approve these long-range weapons for Ukraine as a message being sent not just to U.S. allies, but also to the incoming Trump administration about the importance of continuing to support Ukraine in this fight going forward.
Let me also ask you, Nancy, about Secretary Lloyd Austin saying that there is more U.S. money on the way for Ukraine to meet some of their critical battlefield needs. So how much are we talking about? And will that include more weapons?
We're talking about $275 million that had already been approved. And yes, it includes a lot of weapons, including drones and rocket launcher ammunition. And
I'm going to say it before you do. Those missiles look like lightning strikes. Is it just me, or were those insanely fast? And so now it looks like we're ramping up to World War III and things have actually gotten worse. The plan seems to be to create chaos before Trump has a chance to fix things. That's what the optics of the Biden administration's decisions have looked like at the moment, with conflict being escalated to new heights as we speak. With President Joe Biden recently approving the use of long-range missiles to strike Russia,
the US President Joe Biden has authorized Ukraine to use American long-range missiles to strike targets deep inside Russia.
Until now, Mr. Biden has been reluctant to give permission because of concerns about the conflict escalating. Our correspondent David Willis reports now from Washington.
The aftermath of the latest missile attack on Ukraine, Russia's largest in months. This, the city of Sumy, near the Russian border, after a missile hit a residential area, killing 10 people and injuring many more. As President Biden arrived in Rio for the G20 summit, reports emerged of new U.S. measures to help Ukraine defend itself. Authorization from the outgoing leader for the use of long-range, American-made guided missiles capable of striking deep into Russian territory.
Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky seems to be very happy with this green light, saying that such things are not announced. Missiles speak for themselves. I guess he got what he wanted, but it's not like Russia was just going to take this laying down. Hence the first clip where you saw missiles hitting Ukraine like the Flash. Now, some of you guys might remember that Vladimir Putin has already spoken about providing Ukraine with long-range missiles that can go into Russian territory, saying that doing so would represent NATO's direct participation in this war. It's also opening up further global conflict as other nations are now being pulled in. News has just come out that a senior North Korean general was injured due to a Ukrainian airstrike aimed at Russia's Kursk region. And just to prove to you how hypocritical this administration is, the White House has condemned Russia's use of North Korean forces, even though it was Ukraine who launched at least 10 missiles into Kursk. Looking at it from a different perspective, it shows that this administration may be putting in the work to stifle peace talks. President-elect Trump has promised to end this Russia-Ukraine war within 24 hours of office. That's going to be very hard to do if the world is at war by that time. Things are also shifting in the borders too, which leads a lot of people to believe that President Joe Biden or whoever is behind the presidency is looking to F things up before January. Watch.
I mean, and that's what I'm saying. What is going on as Biden is walking out the door? You know, he's approving these long-range missiles for Ukraine to use inside of Russia, something that obviously has sparked Putin to think we're beginning World War III. He's easing restrictions at the border, coming up with this new app that allows migrants to just do it on the phone rather than going in person. And then, this app doesn't even identify whether or not that person has a warrant, past crimes. What is this? What is going on in the Biden administration? They're trying to blow the place up as they walk out the door.
Yeah, they absolutely are trying to blow it up. And it's not Joe Biden. I mean, he hasn't been in charge in quite a while. It's the people around him who are the same people who were in the Obama administration.
Good point, yeah.
They're so angry Trump won the first time they tried to sabotage any foreign policy moves President Trump would make in his first term. Now they're really mad, and they're just trying to sabotage President Trump. and hoping that he fails. And so then they'll be back in charge.
This is now the general consensus within people who are actually seeing what's happening. And I think Joe Rogan covered it well because he just went on a rant as to what's being done just weeks before Trump is set to go back into the White House. Watch.
I feel safer knowing that Trump is in office.
I do too.
I feel great about it.
What I don't feel safer is right now they're launching missiles into Russia.
Yeah.
How are you allowed to do that when you're on the way out? Like, the people don't want you to be there anymore. This should be like some sort of a pause for like significant actions that could potentially start World War III. Maybe that would be a good thing that we would like to avoid from a dying former president.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing is nuts.
I mean, look, I don't know shit about politics.
Zelensky says Putin is terrified. Fuck you, man. Fuck you people. You fucking people are about to start World War III.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Russia fired a missile today.
I feel like
they fired an intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time ever. It's the first time one of those has ever been used.
That's insanity.
It's fucking insanity because those intercontinental ballistic missiles can have nukes on them. This one didn't, but if it does, the whole world changes. And it changes because of the military-industrial complex, and it changes because of the money that's going to Ukraine, and it changes because the outgoing president or whoever the fuck is actually running the country has decided to do something fucking insane.
Yeah,
fucking insane. And we're all sitting there watching it, and people are cheering it on. CNN was saying, finally. See what their headline was about Zelensky about Biden giving Zelensky the ability to use long-range missiles.
And it's not just the war that they're trying to escalate here, guys. Reports now show that immigration restrictions are being loosened by the Biden administration. So you got a war that Trump wants to stop and illegal immigration that, again, Trump wants to stomp on. And yet the administration is doing everything in its power to mess up both. It's just crazy to think that this is the level that they've stooped down to. I mean, you heard it a second ago, but just to kind of drive the point home, the Biden Department of Homeland Security is launching an ICE portal app that will let illegal immigrants skip in-person check-ins at an ICE office. Instead, all they got to do is check in with immigration officials via an app on a phone or computer. The app also doesn't check for past arrests or outstanding warrants. That's nice, isn't it? Strong sarcasm there, of course. Sure doesn't sound like the Biden administration is going to make this transition easy for President-elect Trump. And of course, nothing's going to happen because Joe Biden or anybody else around him, they're not going to be held to any standards. Do any of you guys think that this counts as treason? Now, on that note, guys, we're seeing pushback on everything that Trump's trying to do. This has led to Matt Gaetz now pulling back on the AG nomination that was bestowed upon him. Now, I covered this at length in a previous video where blockades are being built up to stop Trump from nominating people that he wants in his cabinet. Make sure you guys check that one out because the sabotage is evident. As always, guys, appreciate you guys hitting the like button. Thank you for subscribing. Check out this video that's coming up here or check out our playlist and clips down below. I'll see you guys on the next one.